Hello, welcome back to the library, and this time I mean it, book-wise. Game publishers re-releasing games is nothing new. The list goes on and on, including the greatest hit series, remasters, budget labels, and more. But what happens when the game is re-released in snazzy packaging with several other titles? You get the Capcom GameBook series, a Japanese exclusive. Now for clarity, Capcom of Japan had two different series of this type, GameBook and RetroBook, and in today's episode we're focusing on the GameBook series, not only because I think the artwork is better, but because it's slowly becoming impossible to complete the collection. More on that later. The series contains 5 of Capcom's most treasured game series, each previously released in different forms. GameBooks are thin, hard cover with the PlayStation disc locked into a spindle inside the back cover. They originally sold for 2,800 yen, about $20 in modern freedom bucks. Besides the game disc, the book contained expanded information on controls, strategy guides, and in some cases character bios and programmer's cheats. First up in the series is Rockman 1, or Mega Man as we know him in the States. This is part of the Rockman Complete Works series, where Capcom re-released the Famicom games, aka Nintendo, on the PlayStation. Alongside the ROM comes then modern life upgrades like saving and passwords, historical data, new modes, and even mini-games to download to your Pocket Station. Next up is Rockman 2, which follows in the same footsteps as the first game. Third in this series is the Super Pain Collection, which is Super Buster Brothers here in the USA. This game gives you access to Pain games 1 through 3. With this release, the book's mostly just strategies for all 3 games, and then some programmer cheats tossed in at the end. Fourth in the lineup is
Tenchi Kurau 2 Sekiheki no Tatakai.
Covers multiple facets of the gaming culture. It's a conversion of the 1992 arcade game, which was based on the manga
Tenchi Kurau 2.
a series based on the Romance of the Three Kingdoms storyline. America saw the arcade release here as Warriors of Fate. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up where 1 or 2 players can walk the path of Liu Bai and company. Similar to Capcom's other brawlers like Final Fight and Captain Commando, Warriors of Fate has a few surprises up its sleeve. For starters, it has 3 different endings based on a choice you must make around level 9. Second, it has several hidden features and programmer's cheats you can use to mix things up a bit. Third, hidden in the shadows and corners are treasures, allowing a bit of exploration to break up the repetition of punching people in the face. Finally, my boy, Strider, comes in 5th at the final release in the series. This one should need no introduction, but if you're new to the hobby, let's talk about spicy action. Released to arcade rooms in 1989, it would see its first home releases to European computers. It would find its foothold in gamers' hearts with the Genesis and Mega Drive releases. Touted as the 8 mega memory wonder, it's a huge sword power-up, full-screen boss, and killer soundtrack game that remains some of the most amazing experiences to this day. Capcom would release the PlayStation version as a bonus disc with the home release of Strider 2. Sadly, the GameBook version only includes the original Strider disc, so in a way, you're only getting half the release. A fair trade for the full character details and gameplay tips coming from the people who made the game. Oddly enough, this re-release would act as the final standalone original PlayStation release worldwide. Other PS1 games would be included in multi-format box sets later on, but as far as a single game goes, Strider was the last one out. Let's talk about what you're here for. Sort of collectability and, making the subset, if you will. So, I can tell you with great certainty that this may be one of the most easiest and hardest subsets I've ever come across, especially in starting the Japanese library. So, of the 5 books, if we're talking about how easy it is to get, Mega Man 2 and Warriors of Fate are dead easy. You can get this whenever you want. Rockman 1 is hit or miss. It can either be like 7 to 8 available or like 1 available, depending on when you're shopping and where you're shopping. Strider is a little bit hit and miss. This was probably my second hardest one to get just because I was waiting for a complete copy, and we'll get to that in a second. But the problem child is paying. I started collecting Japanese games, I think, a year ago now, and this subset was one of the first things I wanted to go after because, like Zixseed, I loved this idea. Like this, it's so nice. As an apology to the eBay seller who I asked if he could add an American shipping thing, the first time I found this was brand new for $330, and I couldn't pull the trigger because I kept getting hammered with bills, be it a car repair, doctor bill, dentist bill, whatever. So I had to, like, unfortunately miss out on that. It eventually ended up being sold. Oh no. About 4 months later, after searching every day on multiple sale sites, I finally was able to get this through a proxy off of Amazon, brand new for $180. It's $180 for a re-release. For some reason, paying in general is apparently a hard to find or at least in-demand game. Even the standard stupid regular copy is usually about 50 to 60 bucks, even on Japanese websites. So I'm not sure what the story is there yet. Now, if you do want to go for these guys, I have good news and I have bad news. The first good news is that you can save money buying used, because the only three things these things come with is the book, the disc, and then if you're into super completeness, the warranty card. If you absolutely have to have everything, I know for sure on this one, but I have to check on the Rockman 2 one. This one, sealed new, it has a little 20th anniversary sticker because this came out on the 20th anniversary of Mega Man. So if you have to have everything, you'll need this one new to get that sticker. That aside, time is not kind to these guys. And what I mean by that is, for these five, I bought Pang, Rockman 1, and I believe Warriors of Fate 2. Those were all new. And despite being new, factory sealed, after all these years, time is catching up to the materials. Despite being a new book, on the back where the binding is, you can see it's already starting to warble pretty bad. That, like, waviness. Second, not so much on these guys yet, but on the other book series, the retro books, which are the 1 through 5 volumes, this plastic panel, the glue is wearing off, and I have at least 2 books where if you go to open the book, this just falls the hell out. So it's something to be careful for. As of this video's publishing date, this whole set will probably run you, I think this was 180, Strider was 120, and then Warriors of Fate was like $20 shipped, and Rockman 2 I think was 40, somewhere in there. So you're looking at least about, I think it's $400, if not more, for the whole set. But you can get the individual normal releases far cheaper. But I absolutely love these things. One of my biggest pet peeves with the modern collecting culture is this stupid reliance on tchotchkes. Like, hey, I fell for it too. I've got, or at least I had, the Dishonored Mask and the Pip-Boy and the big-ass statue from Halo Reach. But, like, nowadays, like, especially limited run game releases, I don't need a yo-yo or a body pillow or a skateboard. I want information on the game, especially if it comes from the people that made the game. For $20 when these first came out, this was a treasure trove of just strategy for people that have never played the game, and just character information for people that loved the game but might not have known the background of the characters. It really is a cool little subset, and I would highly recommend it if you're looking for something different to collect. I really would like to see companies like LRG and every other, you know, we're going to charge you $80 for a game you already own, to do something like this from here on out. Book releases. Give us something tangible and informative, and not just a box of plastic we'll just store on the shelf. And believe me, starting to collect Japanese games, I have a lot of plastic in boxes on the shelves. All right, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm here when you need me. I'll see you next episode. Take care.